Gentlemen, in retail Afghanistan, we don't seem to know the value of money. So we spend money on things that are, well, retarded.
Yeah, for the most part. And that is because a lot of billionaires are spending a lot of money on political parties. The political party funding, whatever you call them, came out for the last quarter of 2023. And did you know, Byron, the DA made 125 million rands worth of donations in 2023. And this was mostly brought about by very few individuals. And my brain can't fathom this. What the hell is the return on investment in giving the DA 126 million rand when they're polling at 23%? It's literally no change from 4 years ago. It's a complete waste of money, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd think that. But you know what's even more interesting? Change starts now. Everybody heard of that very famous political party set up by Roger Jardine? Anybody know about it? You see the posters everywhere? No? Not me either. But apparently that political party got 36 million rands worth of donations to do stuff, I suppose. I mean, 36 million is not a small amount of money, mate.
It really is not a small amount of money at all. And I can see that Action SA has done very well as well, receiving close to 14 million rand over the course of a single year. So hundreds of millions of rands are being spent by very few billionaires on these political parties. And listen, political party funding is what it is. Do what you want. But how retarded do you have to be to think that all this money is worthwhile? These billionaires, what aren't they doing with their money? They're not funding litigation against ANC communism. They're not funding anything to destroy the EFF. They're not funding anything that changes the narrative of the country. They're not funding media companies. They're not funding NGOs. They're not funding any institutions that go against the grain of communism in South Africa. So it makes me think, Byron, either we've got the most retarded billionaires in the world or they are complicit in some way.
I'm more inclined to think that they're just complicit. But you know what's actually really curious, and I'm not sure really I believe this whole funding matrix, because according to the whole funding sheet, ANC got like 46 million. I'm pretty sure they were in debt for a lot more than that, and magically that debt just disappeared. You're on. But you know, magically it's not on the sheet. So Sky Fairies maybe? And more interestingly, the EFF only managed to get 2.6 million in donations, which I believe is what they should have got based on the fact that they're a bullshit party. But based on the amount of posters that I see everywhere, yeah, I don't believe that. So I think maybe we can infer that these figures might actually be on the light side. And if we're really honest about it, Ramon, in typical fashion, the DA has been the Karen again of the political parties, hasn't it? And they're the only ones actually abiding by the rules. They're probably the only ones that actually declared all the donations. But so what you could actually infer from this is even the figures that are put down here are actually probably quite light. They're actually probably far higher than even this, which is actually even more dire because it means that there's a load of billionaires giving money to Independent South Africa National Civil Organization. Who the fuck are they? What the hell are you giving them money for?
So in total, in the last quarter of 2023, over 300 million rand was given to political parties. 300 million rand. Are you telling me that we must just accept the NHI? Are you telling me that we must just accept crime and degradation and filth and bullshit in our streets every day? The huge amounts of illegal foreigners committing crime all over the place. We must just accept all this crap because there's no money to fight it? What a load of shit. What a load of shit. How come poorer countries than ours can fix these problems, but in South Africa we can't, right? All the rich people somehow think funding a political party to get 3% of the national vote is somehow useful. I just don't get it. It makes no sense. Because we know that the return on investment, if they're not complicit, is extremely low. Which makes me think the Oppenheimers and the Anthony Balls and the Martin Moschels and all the people that give all this money, maybe they just want the status quo. Maybe they're milking this country like there's no tomorrow, and therefore, fuck it. Let's give money to everyone so they can just be frozen in time forever so we can keep milking it. It's the only solution and the only answer I have.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit curious because, you know, that well-known political party called Able Leadership managed to get some funding. Don't know who the bloody hell they are. And Razem Zamzi managed to get a shed load of political donations, but still nobody really knows who they are apart from the posters. I think we've all seen the posters like everywhere. They're like graffiti at this point. Is anybody voting for Rise and Zamsi? I don't even know what they stand for, really. But these guys are getting like millions. You know what's really curious? The one political party that actually I do see getting votes, but not really much in the word of campaigning, the PA, the Patriotic Alliance, don't actually have that much in donations. It's almost like if you really wanted to fund political change in South Africa, you would have spent, I don't know, 60 million maybe on the PA and said, screw all these small little minnow parties and let's just chuck all our money in one corner. But what you tend to find is that they kind of like do this splattergun approach, right? They just give everybody millions and hope one of them's kind of successful, maybe. And the return on investment isn't really that material. Whereas as we all know, if you did, I don't know, NHI and took it to court, you won. Yes. Now that's a victory, huh? But it's almost like there's no game plan here. It's just scattergun approach. It's just throw your money at everyone and just hope something happens.
Well, the only game plan is complicity. That's the only game plan I can actually think of. Because if they wanted to really solve problems in South Africa, they wouldn't be funding politics. Because politics is the furthest thing from solving problems, that is. They would fund, I don't know, maybe like, imagine AfriForum received 300 million rand a quarter. Imagine the good they could do, right? Imagine the good, all sorts of civic organizations across this country who look after the disabled and the poor and solve crime and community action groups all over this place. Imagine they got 8 billion rand a year in funding from billionaires. This country would be overnight a different story, a success, a safer, better, more prosperous country. But no, let's run political parties because, and I can tell all my friends at my Stellenbosch wine farm, I gave the DA 20 million because, you know, I really love Helen's husky voice. It makes no sense. The only thing I can think of, they're complicit. They love South Africa to be frozen in time. They're milking the system as much as possible. And therefore, all this funding is actually meant to change absolutely fuck all because absolutely fuck all suits them very much.